Okay, welcome to this presentation with my personal development plan. So I have effectively two businesses, in a sense, going at the same time, and both the status quo of assessing that is somewhat different. Firstly, we have Enthrive, which I'm developing with someone else to be a company that's focused on effectively improving the quality of life and thriving the mind for a happy life with a long stretch into the world, potentially. While then on the other hand, I have my personal branding, Cole Howlett, which started out at the beginning through my photography, but will be a freelancing option through photography, project management, and invention, to eventually loop back round when the invention part is quite high, back into Enthrive. It will be a simple matter of I develop a product, send it to Enthrive, and then it runs by itself, sort of thing. So I'll be freelancing for myself. Yeah, so now I'll move into my personal goals, which should pop on the screen now. So my professional goals for, say, the next 5 years. So focusing on Enthrive at first, I would like to see 5 products developed, the prototypes, and actually finalised and out there, going as far as they possibly can. Now, Enthrive is about developing unique products, unique services, and unique education about improving the mind and thus improving the quality of life for people in the world. Now, like I said earlier, certain things are difficult to produce. Every product will be different, different target, different market, different customer. So the actual value propositions, the who's my target market, all of that will change as long as the stakeholders will also change. And I also have my Cole Howlett, which is a bit more professional. Cole Howlett is about making money. It's about being slick. So when you hire me, it's like you're hiring Batman. The problem will be solved. Well, in Thrive, you ain't going to hire in Thrive. In Thrive's going to make a product, and you're going to need it. You're going to want it. You're going to want it for your friend, and it's going to improve their life. So there's a 3-step phase, so breaking down that 5-year. Within Thrive, and early on, is to develop 3 prototypes, or the concept of them prototypes, to potentially pitch to in a business case to an investor to then take them forward. Then once that's done, I'll move back into my personal branding in like the 2nd year and develop that, so I have my actual project management case. Effectively, I have my track record, so people know about me, the word of mouth is spreading. So that in that form it will come a case of, okay, I might do 3 projects this year, 2 photography ones, 1 project management, and move forward. Now the 3rd stage, this will probably happen later on into the 5 years, maybe even later, where Enthrive runs itself. It's automatic, in the sense that we have these unique products, we potentially have a team of geniuses developing these products and services to actually run. So my job in that case would be, as Cole Howlett, just invent things, send them to Enthrive, and they run, and that would generate a passive income for me. Now I'm going to move on to some of the things that we've learned on this course, but don't necessarily apply to my business, because of the unique avenue it goes. So this is just going to change. Okay, there we go. This is going to change. So on behind me we have the flower. Now the flower is about where would I like to work, what conditions would I like, what people do I like to work with. Now generally, with the nature of Enthrive and my photography at the moment, completely irrelevant, because effectively I'm working for myself and developing things. However, eventually, maybe within 2-3 years, I will be looking to hire people and running teams in relation to Enthrive, advertisement campaigns. All them questions I need to answer myself, so when I hire someone, they have them conditions, they enjoy working for my company, and that's quite important. Additionally, there will be opportunities for those with needs. So for our company Enthrive, what better way to improve the quality of life with someone than someone who has no avenues? There is no better way. But again, everyone can be part of Enthrive. Enthrive is about improving the quality of life on the planet Earth, as far as we can go. Additionally, we have the value proposition behind me. Now this is where things get a little bit complicated within Thrived. The point of the value proposition is, okay, this is the customer, this is what they gain, their negatives, their perspectives, what problems am I solving, okay, what does my business get from the customer, what values, what are the negatives, what are the roadblocks. Now, for the company as a whole, that's very difficult to answer, because every individual product, service, and the education aspect has a different target market. For example, the development of a pair of trousers that are quite fashionable to wear that help you stand up. So you go from a sitting position to standing up, and it takes away all the energy requirements from you. So the target market there would be people with deteriorating conditions, people who are generally just getting old, because the whole point is that should, in theory at this point, a lot more research just needs to be done, will reduce the time it takes from, say, a deteriorating condition, from turning you from someone who can walk with a little bit of trouble to a wheelchair, by about 70%. Now the reason where I get 70% from is because there are things that exist in the world that improve things physically, like people put things on their knees, they put things on their feet, even when people are working with things like games to stop Alzheimer's. The general figure generally tends to be about 70%. However, that is not a claim I'm making, that is just a prediction of potential. And that's quite important. Next, you have the aspect of, okay, what does the business get? So the business there is looking to actually gain word of mouth. People need to know to entrust in Thrive. So every product would increase the reputation of Thrive. It's not necessarily out to make money. Obviously it needs to make profit to support itself and to create more products, but it's not a business driven by money. So certain products will be developed for niches. So one product I'm working on now is a game designed for people with asthma. Oh, I say this wrong. When you can sing but you can't talk, because that's something that can be cured through therapy and sessions by rebuilding the circuits within your brain. Now, when the NHS does it, it does take a long time. However, if games can stop Alzheimer's and improve the function of the brain, why can't I develop a specific game to tackle the issues? I'll put the name up here at some point. Okay, now talking about Cole Howlett, can these things apply again? Again, not really. Well, yes, you can, because each individual product and service would fill its own one out. But in terms of one that's broad for the entire company, either my personal branding or in Thrive, not really. That just doesn't apply, because there's different target markets. So, like for my personal branding, you have my photography market, you have my project management market, and then you have my invention market. Now, the invention aspect, that's purely for fun. So my target market probably be curious people between the ages of 25 to 40 who have money. And then you might have my project management. Then that could be any company, just as long as who fit the agile approach, because that's where my skill set will be. But again, I am putting myself there as a problem solver, so that sort of fits anyone. However, I would say I would like to pitch myself at a higher level of class, and then with the actual photography, whoever likes my work. And actually I think there'll be an ethos aspect, as long as the company is a decent company. Like, I don't want to be working with any dodgy or unethical companies, or companies who are a little bit too politic. So yeah, that's it for this segment. Next I will be moving into my actual plan and breaking that down. Okay, so here's a few examples of the professional goals sort of broken down, as I was speaking about them before. Like within Thrive, I want to get 3 prototypes ready in order to pitch them, potentially do a persuasive case and do some crowdfunding or bring in investors. Like potentially the products I have already using my network with the NHS, I can develop funds, because these are products at the moment that would interest them. Another aspect would be to like get early people who are suffering from conditions who don't necessarily have a hope. I would give them a massive discount So potentially I build a prototype with them in mind, and then give it to them for free once it's done. That might be an avenue, but again, there's an ethics there. I don't want to be taking advantage of someone. And then you have the development of Cole Howlett. So I've written down here, okay, 1 year I do 2 projects for project management, 5 projects for photography. Is that logical within the next year? Maybe not, because of I have medical issues hitting me at the moment. However, what I say is, once my medical issues are sorted out, that's when the clock will count. So when that date hits, okay, within that year, 2 projects for project management, 5 for photography, specifically for clients, and then execute my network a bit stronger. So I have my printers in Germany. I potentially will want my architecture stuff sorted, get my makeup artists ready, my actual business contacts within Thrive, okay, new product ready to go, potentially create my own magazine, and potentially create an anime. So I've been building these characters for this brief, but them characters I decided were strong enough to bring into Thrive and have their own section. So Breath would be the medical aspect in the medical world. I would have a character specifically for Thrived education, a character specifically for Thrived services, and then potentially have an actual anime or cartoon, depending on your take, that would help motivate and bring these products to life. So yeah, but again, that's a long time. The short term, okay, 1 year, 2 projects for project management, 2 years, 5 photography products, and then 3, make sure my network is slick, so if work comes in, I'm never in an issue where I have to turn around to a client and say, okay, no, I've got too much work at the moment, I can't do it. And then within Thrive, okay, got to have that network, got to have them products running, ready to go to actual investors and move forward. So then there's the financial needs. And Thrive needs to support itself and to move forward. However, it doesn't necessarily need to support me. So in Thrive's about improving the quality of life in the world. That's more of a moral goal. Yes, it needs to make money, but it doesn't need to make money for me. While my Cole Howlett branding, yes, that needs to make money for me. So something I would like in the future is my own caravan with a hauler behind, good internet on the go, and different aspects, potentially my own canoe. So Hey, I'm back to talk about SWAT. I did cut off a little bit with my canoe, but I was going off a bit of a tangent. Anyway, so SWAT, my strengths. My strengths is generally I'm a little bit quirky. I've sort of got a logical background in chess and sort of science, but then I went into sort of arts and sort of design and photography. So I have the arty world, which in honesty is a little bit cuckoo. I'm a little bit cuckoo, and then you have the logical sides to keep that grounded. So that's where I come from. So that's my biggest strength. I'm a little bit unique, significantly weird, and that's my biggest strength. Additionally, with all the medical issues I've had in the past, I've built up quite a good connection with the NHS. So if I want to see a focus group relating to a specific issue, I have the contacts. If I want to say, okay, potentially get some scans done of people with a certain condition, or at least see some scans that are already done, that might be an option for me. Additionally, I have printers in Germany which are quite good. They might be impacted by COVID. I would have to look into that a bit more again. No, not COVID, I'm afraid, Brexit. See how that is affected after COVID. Additionally, I live in London, I live in the UK. London's, with Brexit, is looking for opportunities. I already also know Ireland that's in the EU, is currently looking for entrepreneurs to potentially move there, to set up companies. They're offering a lot of money, and that's something that there's a dialogue going. Whether I do that or not, I don't know. Okay, so my weaknesses. Well, I'm effectively starting as the underdog here. I don't have a lot of money to put down, so there is an issue where I will need at some point investment from someone. Do I think the characters and the products and the services that are currently in thought and development have the strength to entice someone? Yeah, almost certainly. Because products, if they're going to make money, what? If they're going to save the world, double what? And even third, if they're actually nice and can talk back to you, because I've got these characters as well. Any investor, but they like to make money. They make money. And then I have the opportunities. Again, I have the network with the NHS. There's conferences in London. There's also a lot of startup businesses that fund within London. So having that on my doorstep, massive opportunity. In terms of like Cole Howlett's aspect and actually developing my photography career, product management and inventor, but the inventor thing will come anyway because that's sort of tied in within Thrive. But with the actual, say, photography, there are photography groups I'm a part of. I do have networks within London. Obviously COVID has impacted that heavily, but things should start to pick up again soon. And then with project management, well, I'm doing this course and we'll sort of see where that goes. At the moment I do need to secure myself like a live job for that, to siege that as a true opportunity. Now, threats. Again, because I don't necessarily have the funding, I can't copyright everything. So I've got to be very careful. Like some products I haven't mentioned anywhere are really good, but until I've been able to copyright them, it's very dangerous for me to go forward, because if someone with money discovered the idea and I hadn't got legal ties there, well, quite easily they could take the product and make it themselves. Now, I don't necessarily have the means to fight them. Legal is a very costly manner. Additionally, there's actual competitors to that product. Will I ever be able to make my product in a manner that if someone like Amazon was going to try and take me on tomorrow, do I have a leg to stand on to battle them? Maybe. And then other threats is like, hey, I have a lot of medical issues. How is that going to impact my future? So now I'll move on to my conclusion. Right, where I need this to change. Where's my magic pen? Magic pen. There we go. Magic pen. Okay, so in conclusion, this reflection was quite useful. So reflecting on the business and the project management, my project plan for the future, was very important, but there was a lot of missing tune in some things with the course, because obviously my business and even my personal business isn't going in one straight line. So one thing we were on, okay, secure your branding, make it clear what it is, make it secure, make it strong. Now I feel the branding is strong, but it's not necessarily clear in the sense that I can define my customers, because obviously again, every product, every service, while it has the same objective of improving the quality of life within the world, they will all do it in different ways. Some will improve the mind and the cognitive need. Others will be literally physically helping someone deal with an issue. Others might be a portable lab to help schools who don't necessarily have the money to build a lab have that resource. Like potentially in that avenue, in terms of business perception, I could potentially build the van, sell the van to someone else to run the van, effectively selling people businesses, as long as they meet my ethos. Obviously if it's a lab to work in schools, they would need a DBS, but that would have an objective. Okay, the caravan, I just need to make it and then it's gone. I would already have people buying the van from me, so that's a way to sort of move that forward without a big expense for me. I don't need a fork out for a van if someone's buying my van from me before I've made it. Yes, anyway, so I will be reflecting in future. We've learned about these 90 days reflections. Every 90 days look back. I will be looking back, and my measure of success will be, okay, is the product doing what it needs to do? That's success criteria 1. Criteria 2, is it selling? Do people want this product now that it's doing what it needs to do? 3, is it sustaining itself, and is it making a profit? So that would be the 4 criteria. 1, does it do what it needs to do? 2, do people want it? Is it getting good feedback? 3, can it sustain itself? And then 4, is it making profit? They are the 4 criteria of success for my products and services. The 5th one being, how far does it go? The UK, Germany. At the moment, focusing on the UK. Once I've tackled that challenge, we'll move on to taking over the world. But we will start with the United Kingdom, which will soon potentially be England, Brexit, all this stuff going on. Anyway, now I'm moving on to my Q&A section. Okay, so I've got to the point where I'm on my Q&A. So I've got a few questions on the screen which I'm going to go through. Out of the questions that were put to me, these were the best suited. So the first question, okay, I mentioned 2 companies, but what type are they? I should have mentioned that. So in Thrived, it was a limited company, and Cole Howlett is a sole trader. Now, the reason I've picked a limited company is because 1, I'm not the only one working on that company, and 2, because I'm working with products and development, I really need to be a part of sort of the protected aspect. So there will be investments made into the development of them products, and I might have people who invest in the company also invest in their products. And the thing is with products, things can go wrong. Like hopefully, I hope they don't go wrong. I'm going to take extra care that they don't. But if they do, that can leave a company quite liable. Like if someone accidentally swallowed a 20p and then 20p was actually a new product, then they might get in trouble. So like I want the aspect where my personal finances are separate from the company, but effectively for safety. Would other options be better? Maybe, with the option of people investing in such, but a limited company at the moment is just better. Yes, and then for my personal aspect, because it's more like I'm just an outsourced worker in a sense, where I come in as a photographer, I come in as a project manager, or I'm inventing something for a client. That's very much different. I'm not necessarily working directly with a customer. I'm probably working with a company, or potentially some weddings in there, but more so actual companies, and I can protect myself with contracts and just being a bit safe and cautious. So there's a big difference in the expenses that I need to do, which is why I picked a limited company for in Thrive, because I need the protection in there, and I want that to go a lot further. The sole trading is just me. It's always just going to be just me because it's about me. That's why it's a sole trader. Yeah, that's my personal branding. Moving on, so I jump in between 2 companies for my 5-year plan. Yeah, I think that's wise. Because like, one's focusing on me and my development. Like, where do I need to go? How am I making money for me? And it's also sort of what I'm building up. So when I let N5 go for its own, because obviously fundamentally one of my desires is for N5 at some point to run on its own as a passive income for me. And again, it doesn't need to make money for me, but that's sort of a desire. And then it's best to get them both running at the same time. The more credibility I get through my personal branding, more credibility N5 gets indirectly, and vice versa. Moving them forward as a pair, I think, is critical. And I'm someone who generally has a weakness of I go off on tangents, I get distracted, I'm working on one thing and go on the other. By having 2 things running like this at the same time, it adapts for my, I guess, swings in direction. So in my measurement 4 and 5, yes, I was quite clear. I didn't mention actually for my photography, I should have mentioned that. So for my personal branding, it's generally just the amount of credibility I get. So the more projects, the more my name gets out there. So like, let's say my objective to get 2 project management projects done, 5 photography ones, and build up my network. My success criteria would be how many of them have I actually done. Have I done my 2 projects? Have I done my 5 photography things for clients? And have I built any of my network up? That would be my measurement for success. For every bridge successfully secured with a foundation with my network, that's a point for success. Am I doing it with a realistic time? So hopefully before I'm 30, that is like properly off the ground, where okay, I might have 5 projects in my inbox per week. Like that's in like 3 years, but hopefully I'm starting to hit that level that it can provide for me as a job. That would be the main line of success. Do I need to do this and a job, or is it just this? And then the combined goal, I guess that Well, combine is a bit difficult because obviously one, there's different levels of the products. I guess time would be the greatest measurement there, and how far they're going. The success of how the products are working and the success of my name building up. How will COVID affect my plans? If COVID continues, it might not necessarily affect my early stage, but it would affect my requirement to sort of be liaising with the NHS, especially with like my two products, one with helping with aphasia, and my other one where it's about lifting someone up from a chair. The NHS might be a big role in that, but as COVID is going off, they're going to have trouble, which meaning even if they're willing to sort of still go with that, there's an ethical thing for me. I don't necessarily want to put any more strain on them. Additionally, my other project potentially is dependent on schools, and well, schools are having trouble with COVID as well. So I guess it has slowed down the project. However, with my own medical issues, it might not end up affecting me at all, because it might just be, okay, COVID's there, during that time I fix my medical issues. And aphasia, yeah, aphasia was the word I couldn't say before. Aphasia, where you can sing but you can't speak. Basically, one half of your brain doesn't work and the other half does. That's the short version, which can be fixed with therapy. It takes quite a while, but hopefully, through the product I create, someone who's in that state can recover significantly faster. Now, that is founded on there are people using games now to cure Alzheimer's and rebuild circuits within the brain by having them do tasks that use them circuits or develop them circuits. A lot more research needs to be done, but I know it's possible, and I am making progress. Okay, yeah, the target market is quite undefined because fundamentally every product is different. Every product will have a different target market, and every one of them tools, from the flower, well, not the flower, the value per gift thing, the value, the thing with the value of your company versus the customer, will change per product. I guess in some contents that the stakeholders could be the clients, so the people who would invest in each individual into each individual product, potentially could be there, because they would be people who care, people probably a bit on the older side. So yes, okay, so if I was to do one for them, they would be between, I would say, 28 to maybe 50, people who care, people who have money, and people with potential influence around the world. So like, they would invest in the products to make money from the products, or it might be the case that they invest into them because they genuinely think they can help a lot of people. So yes, in that sense, yes, I could potentially fill them in as a customer, even though the products themselves aren't targeting them. Arguably, you could say the company is. It's a bit hit and miss, but yeah. I can't think anything else. I think I've covered the questions.